Goodhart's law states that when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be an effective measure. It's November 2013, and NASCAR has a Jimmie Johnson problem. Of the 10 championships that have taken place since the chase for the Sprint Cup was introduced, Jimmie has won 6 of them. The 48 team has perfected the formula for winning under NASCAR's postseason format, going all out early and locking up a chase berth, and then coasting through the summer while they work on their setups for the last 10 races, which coincidentally contain some of Jimmie's best tracks. Jimmie and his team have turned NASCAR's measure of the best driver in a season into their own personal target, and something has to change. It certainly wasn't the only reason that the postseason was changed, though. New television partners, general experimentation, and massive scandals all contributed to a major overhaul to NASCAR's championship format. What they implement isn't quite the format that existed through 2025, but it's very similar. The chase has become the chase grid. 12 drivers become 16, and 10 races become 3, and then 3, and then 3, and then 1, with 4 drivers eliminated and the points reset after each round. Race winners from the regular season would be locked into the chase as well, likely in an effort to say to casual fans tuning in for just the chase, hey, this is what that guy did to get in. It's much more complicated than before, but with a little sleight of hand, it can be made to look simple. Whether this championship format will ever get casual fans to tune in is something that today we can debate and yell about until our collective throats are sore. But for now, it's 2014, and we're about to see it in action for the very first time. After 26 weeks of racing, the top seed in the inaugural chase grid is the champion from 2 seasons ago, Brad Keselowski. He's trying for his 2nd title in 3 years, and who knows, he could be the next dynasty in the making. With 4 wins on the year so far, he earns 12 bonus points, and that's it. There's no bonus points awarded for anything other than race wins. Jeff Gordon, who led the points at the end of the regular season, had 3 wins, so he's behind Keselowski, who was 3rd in the standings behind Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. This is a carryover from the previous 12-driver incarnation of the chase, where, for comparison, in 2012, Jeff Gordon went from 137 points behind the leader to 12 points behind. I'm using 2012 as the example because there was a bunch of penalties and other weird point stuff in 2013. This year, the worst offender is Watkins Glen race winner A.J. Allmendinger, who jumped from 303 points behind the leader to 9. I want to reiterate that this is not using the Latford point system where you could score about 200 points in a single race. A.J. Allmendinger was over 6 full races worth of points behind the leader, and he's now just 9 positions on the track away from first place. I mentioned last year when talking about the 2015 chase that the format used was worse than the one in place from 2017 to 2025, and I hope this demonstrates why. I've mentioned a few names already, so let's go through all 16 of the chase contenders from 2014. Behind the 1 seed Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, Jimmie Johnson, Dale Jr., and Joey Logano are tied for 2nd, each winning 3 races throughout the year. Of particular note is Jr., who's in the midst of an incredible comeback season after winning just 2 races in the past 7 years.
3rd generation star Dale Earnhardt Jr. brings him to the flag. Checkered flag waving. It's over. It's Earnhardt.
He won the season opener at Daytona. 2nd checkered flag of the year for Dale Jr. at Pocono.
He's going to do it. 3rd win of the season. Pocono goes to Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Gordon is continuing his years-long quest for a 5th championship. Johnson is trying to prove that he can win under literally any point system, and Logano is turning his career around after leaving Joe Gibbs Racing for Team Penske and finally emerging as the title contender he was expected to become. Behind them, it's a tie for 6th between Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick. After Matt Kenseth left to replace Joey Logano at Gibbs last year, Edwards became the flag bearer for Roush Fenway Racing, but he's following Matt out the door at the end of the year. The 99 car, a staple of the Cup Series since 1996, will close its doors at season's end, and Edwards wants its and his time at Roush to end on top. Harvick also made a big change recently, leaving Richard Childress Racing, the team he spent his whole Cup career with, for Stewart-Haas Racing. He'd been growing dissatisfied with RCR's performance for a while, and signed with Stewart-Haas for 2014 before 2013 even began. His farewell tour in the 29 bore some success, though he may have burned some bridges after a Truck Series run-in with Childress's grandson Ty Dillon, where he called Dillon a punk-ass kid and said drivers like him were exactly why Kevin was leaving RCR. So far, his first season at Stewart-Haas has netted him 2 wins and a 7th in points before the reset, so he'll be in the hunt throughout the fall. After Edwards and Harvick, it's a logjam of drivers with 1 win on the year, ranging from 13th to 23rd in the regular season points. Casey Kane was consistent enough to net a 13th, but needed a clutch victory at Atlanta to clinch a postseason berth. Denny Hamlin ended the regular season in 19th after missing Fontana when a piece of metal hit him in the eye during practice. The Busch brothers both had down years in 2014. Kyle finished 17th after a particularly rough stretch of races in August, but his lone victory in the same race that Denny Hamlin missed guaranteed him a spot in the chase. Kurt ended the regular season in 20th, despite new life being breathed into his career by Gene Haas, who may or may not have signed Kurt to a new 4th Stewart-Haas car without Tony Stewart's knowledge. Kurt hasn't been able to put together a consistent season this year, but his win at Martinsville is enough to get him into the dance. Behind them are the aforementioned AJ Allmendinger as well as Eric Almirola, mid-pack drivers from mid-pack teams who were able to grab a rare win. Usually, these would be celebrated as feel-good underdog stories, but in the playoff era, as we'd come to see over the next 10 years, these wins will be grumbled about and thought of as nothing more than a waste of a playoff spot. Seated below these quote-unquote filler drivers are, to put it plainly, the rest. The guys that are next highest in points that didn't win. 2014 has seen 13 winners so far, so 3 drivers will fill out the rest of the chase grid. Matt Kenseth, 6th in points and famous for a championship so consistent NASCAR had to invent the chase in the first place. 8th place Ryan Newman, who's picked up the torches of the lead driver at RCR following Harvick's departure, and 10th place Greg Biffle, who's about to pick up the torch at Roush when Edwards leaves. 16 drivers across 8 different teams make up the field for the inaugural elimination-style chase. So now that we know who's in, what they've done, and how they're doing, there's nothing left for us to do but venture into the unknown. The largest postseason field in NASCAR history, with eliminations and points resets around every corner. Nobody knows how it's all going to shake out, but for better or for worse, we're going to remember this forever. The front row for the first chase race at Chicagoland Speedway is locked out by title contenders, with Kyle Busch on the pole and Ryan Newman alongside him. Thanks to qualifying being rained out and the starting lineup being determined by first practice, the rest of the chase field is scattered throughout the grid, as deep as 28th place, which is where Joey Logano will start the day. As the attention turns to the ESPN booth, Alan Bestwick can't quite find the words to describe the journey we're about to embark on.
All right, Nicole, thanks. We're ready for the face-off, or the race-off, or the chase-off, as it were.
Whatever you want to call it, it's about to kick off a new era of NASCAR. Kyle Busch leads the field to the green flag.
The trophy at hand for the race win, and how will race 1 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup affect the championship?
A few laps in, Kevin Harvick narrowly avoids becoming the first victim of the 16-driver pressure cooker as he slides in front of Kurt Busch only to be met by a surprise Ricky Stenhouse. This doesn't deter him from racing hard as he flies past Carl Edwards on the backstretch. One surprise at the front of the field is Jamie McMurray. Thanks to being 14th in regular season points and winless, he missed the chase this year, but he and Chip Ganassi Racing aren't going to give up for the rest of the season. As he closes in on Jeff Gordon, Jeff closes in on Kyle Busch, and pretty soon, the top 3 are all over each other. Heading into turn 3 on the 29th lap, Gordon makes his move. Kyle tries to fight back in 1 and 2, but Gordon's got too much momentum on the high side. McMurray follows suit, and Busch falls to third. As Gordon moves low in turn 4 to pass the lap car of Marcus Ambrose, McMurray stays high and gets a huge run out of the corner. He takes Gordon and Ambrose 3 wide and passes them both in 1 and 2. In the first 16-team chase race, a guy who isn't in title contention leads the way. The first pit stop of the race comes from AJ Allmendinger, who's been having a rough day so far. His stop drags the rest of the field onto pit road, and just after McMurray makes the hard left turn, there's trouble for one of the championship contenders.
Kurt Busch spun at the top of the pits, trying to get woed up to the entrance to pit road. There's the first mistake Rusty was talking about.
Kurt's able to get his car back going, so the green flag stays out. Once the pit cycle is complete, McMurray is back and forth, having added a bit to his gap on Jeff Gordon. He's not the fastest car on track, though. Take 11th place Brad Keselowski, for example. He's over 2 miles an hour faster than McMurray, and is carving his way through the field after starting back in 25th. He breaks into the top 10 by dispatching of Denny Hamlin like it's nobody's business. Ahead of him, Kevin Harvick's in 4th, trying to chase down Kyle Busch when he nearly loses it again. There's just something about him in turn 4 today. A moment later, the first caution of the race comes out for debris in turn 2. A caution brings with it pit stops, and with a 2-tire call, Kyle Busch puts his car back in the lead. Harvick, who's been having trouble keeping his car in a straight line, pits a second time for a loose wheel and falls to the rear of the field. A terrible sequence for Stewart-Haas Racing. Thanks to Ryan Newman also taking 2 tires, the front row is the same as it was on lap 1. But this time, Newman can't get going at all. By the time they reach the backstretch, he's already out of the top 5. Ahead of him is McMurray, as well as McMurray's Chip Ganassi teammate, a rookie who will in time prove to be the future of NASCAR.
And look who's second. Kyle Larson in the 42, who started last in a backup car.
Matt Kenseth has worked his way into second, while Keselowski, Gordon, Dale Jr., and Johnson are all stuck behind McMurray. But they'll all pass him in one fell swoop.
Oh, into the wall.
Oh, that's not good. That's the last thing he needed to do right now with the car that he had.
Keselowski continues his charge to the front, passing a fading Kenseth and making a move on Kyle Larson for second. But pretty soon, Jeff Gordon joins the fight, and after a quick battle, passes them all. The 2-tire strategy is working out a lot better for Kyle Busch than it is for Ryan Newman, who's fallen back to 11th. A few minutes later, things get even worse for the 31.
Caution out for the second time at Chicagoland Speedway. Ryan Newman in some trouble. Flat left rear tire. He's left some debris on the racetrack. We'll catch up with that story in a minute. First, here come the leaders charging onto pit road.
Jamie McMurray takes 2 tires this time and retakes the lead. Kurt Busch gets the free pass, getting him back onto the lead lap after his spin. Near Busch in the middle of the pack is AJ Allmendinger, whose gear shifter has snapped in 2 inside his Chevy.
I can shift. My hand might be bloody by the end of this, but I can shift. The restart's not going to be a lot of fun, I can tell you that.
On the restart, Joey Logano, who also took 2 tires, drops like a rock, similar to Newman a little while ago. Keselowski completes his march to the front by passing McMurray, who begins to slip into the clutches of the pack thanks to his 2 older tires. Keselowski holds the lead until his teammate begins the next pit cycle, where once again, a chase contender spins on pit entrance.
Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick, again, we have an issue. The 20 of Matt Kenseth spins, entering pit road.
When the pit cycle is complete, Kevin Harvick is right on Brad's back bumper, and he assumes the lead, which he'll hold for the next 77 laps. A problem with the wall in turn 2 brings the caution out, and when Keselowski pits, the 2 team thinks they might not have gotten all the lug nuts tightened, so they pit again. If he wants to win this race, he'll have to climb through the pack a second time. Eric Almirola has an incredible restart, jumping from 13th to the top 5. For a guy who's been accused of being nothing more than a filler spot in the 16-car postseason, he's having a banner afternoon, and is on his way to shutting up any doubters. 77 laps come and go, and Kyle Larson takes his first lead of the day and is hoping to end it with his first Cup Series win. Just a lap after he takes the lead, he gives it up to come to pit road alongside Harvick. Moments before the pit cycle ends, Carl Edwards' tire brings the caution out. Seconds later, Eric Almirola's day comes to a sudden end.
Eric Almirola going behind the wall, Jamie.
Just as I was calling that pit stop, he reported in on exit. Guys, we're blowing up. We're blowing up, and we need to go behind the wall. Tough break for the 43. Had a top 10 run going, Alan.
That's a heartbreaker, Jamie.
Larson and Harvick lead the field to green with just under 30 laps to go. Behind the leaders, Kurt Busch makes a daring move to the inside of Kyle. Luckily, he keeps his car going. The same can't be said for the highest regular season points finisher to miss the chase, Clint Bowyer. Since it's only been 8 laps since the restart, a majority of the field stays out under yellow. The leaders stay in place, setting the stage for one of the most well-remembered moments from the 2010s. Warning: if you or a loved one have received prolonged exposure to the following few laps on Twitter.com, you may be entitled to compensation. The green flag flies with 18 laps left, and Harvick holds steady on Larson's outside. They stay side by side for a full lap, allowing Keselowski to close in on them. Larson finally clears Harvick on the backstretch, but overdrives 3 and 4 just enough to give Harvick the inside. They side draft each other heading into turn 1, letting Keselowski thread the needle and make a 3-wide pass for the lead.
And here comes Keselowski to make it a 3-way race for the lead. Gonna try and split the middle.
That's the only spot open.
3 wide middle, 3.
Wow, what a pass.
If you're nostalgic for the early to mid-2010s, this might be your favorite NASCAR moment, and you might wonder why the cars and the tracks aren't the same as they were then. But it's important to remember that this moment is just that, a moment. There always has been, and always will be, fleeting moments of incredible racing quality. And while it's easy to look at the past with rose-tinted glasses, we should always remember that this stuff didn't happen every lap. If you don't believe me, go watch this race for yourself and take note of all the stuff I didn't talk about. Is all this talk meant to disparage the moment in question? Absolutely not. Regardless of nostalgic overexposure, it's still one of the best moments in modern NASCAR history, and it certainly deserves its flowers. But enough about that. We've still got a race to finish. Jeff Gordon tries to do the same thing that Keselowski did, but can't pull it off, and Keselowski rockets into the distance. Just as things start to calm down, the caution comes out for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Danica Patrick. A bit of an 18th place lovers' quarrel to set up the final restart. The leaders stay out, and Larson and Keselowski might have made contact while warming up their tires. As the green flag comes out, it's looking like they did.
Yeah,
Larson's smoking.
I think that's from the contact when they were warming their tires up under caution.
The tire rub isn't too bad, but it's enough for Keselowski to escape into the distance once again. As the laps wind down, Larson does everything he can to fend off Jeff Gordon for second, but with 2 laps to go, he concedes the position. Though not by choice.
Oh, into the wall there, though. That might cost him that second spot.
Make it fly away, come on up.
So Jeff Gordon gets second. Larson slips back to third. Brad Keselowski's coming to see the white flag.
The top seed in the chase wins race number 1, while his teammate's engine blows up coming to the checkered. Regardless, Logano still crosses the line in 4th. The championship format obviously encourages drivers to have good days, but it puts more of a spotlight on drivers who had bad days. Namely, Edwards, Allmendinger, and Almirola, and Greg Biffle, who had such a milquetoast race that this is the first time I've mentioned him since his introduction. Luckily for Edwards, his slim points cushion thanks to his 2 wins keeps him 1 point above the cut line, putting Ryan Newman in the danger zone. The top seed and leader in the points also leads the field to green at New Hampshire, alongside Jamie McMurray, who continues to punch above his weight this chase. 36 laps in, a competition caution comes out, and with it comes the first round of pit stops. Keselowski's team decides to go for a strategy play. The 2 team takes 4 tires while the rest of the field takes 2. The same thing that they did in the July race here, and that ended with Brad in victory lane. Since he won last week and is locked into the next round, the team is free to do whatever they want today. On the restart, his teammate Joey Logano takes McMurray 3 wide, stacking up the field behind him. Jimmie Johnson nearly loses it on McMurray's inside, and a lap later, it nearly happens again. Ahead of all the chaos, Denny Hamlin escaped with the lead, but Kevin Harvick is in hot pursuit. 70 laps in, he pounces. Behind them are the drivers who are below the cut line as they run. Casey Kane is just 4 points off of 12th place, but Allmendinger, Biffle, and Almirola are in serious trouble. Just before the race hits the 1/3 mark, Hamlin dives onto pit road. Before anyone else can come down, Debris brings out the yellow flag.
Well, it appears that they did not get enough fuel in the car on the first pit stop. It seems like there's a bit of an issue fueling the car at the point in time. This is the radio they had just after that last stop.
Everybody, make sure you're in fuel position 1. Fuel position 1, so you're ready. We're not getting fuel in the car, just barely. I am on 1. Or run it so you need it and switch to 2 and come in.
Uh-oh. As the field at large exits pit road, Denny stays put. The 11 car won't take any fuel. After Kevin Harvick leads the field to the restart, both Dale Jr. and Kurt Busch pit with loose wheels. It feels like everyone's having early trouble today, but only one driver has overcome it. Brad Keselowski is back up to 6th after taking 4 tires. When Debris brings the caution out again, Logano edges out Harvick for the lead despite a slower pit stop. Moments after he leads the field to green, things go from bad to worse for Denny Hamlin.
Trouble turn 2. Martin Truex Jr., David Reagan, and now Denny Hamlin.
I just thought Denny's day was bad.
He takes the 11 car right to the garage, where the team gets to work on extensive repairs. The race goes green again, and not even a minute later, another Joe Gibbs car is in trouble.
Whoa, Kenseth, hang on. Kyle Busch going to get turned around.
Yet another restart, and I'm sure you can guess what happens.
Whoa, Keselowski is around.
The field gets going again on lap 198, and
All right, Mike, thanks. As you saw, Ricky Stenhouse spun off of turn number 4.
so they go again, and
Caution.
so they go again. When the field came down pit road under that last yellow, Brian Vickers stayed out, and he's staying up front. It'd be wise not to count him out, especially since he won here last year. Behind him, Kurt Busch is in trouble.
Oh! Watching Kurt Busch get loose there, thought he was going to get into Jamie Murray.
He had Dale Jr. poking around his left rear quarter panel, too.
See a little smoke
Yeah.
right front. He did get into him.
Not long after the tire is noticed, it blows, sending him into the wall. The caution comes out 7 laps after the restart. It was the longest green flag run there's been since lap 170. In the intervening 53-lap period, there were 7 cautions. The damage on Kurt's car is bad enough that he joins Hamlin in the garage, and his shot at a win has gone down the drain. As they run, both of them are below the cut line and are gonna need some help to advance. Vickers holds steady for a moment on the restart, but Keselowski makes quick work of him on the backstretch. The green stays out for 21 laps, finally allowing the drivers to get into some kind of rhythm, though it's abruptly ended by debris on the backstretch. The field is split on pit strategy, as about half the field comes down pit road. Keselowski holds down the fort in first place, with a rookie Kyle Larson looking to battle him for the win for the second week in a row. He gives it a valiant effort on Keselowski's inside, but no one's had a thing for Brad today. The quick cautions return when Corey LaJoie goes around in turn 2, and Larson's second try at getting Keselowski goes much worse. Just a moment later, Carl Edwards gets into it with his teammate Ricky Stenhouse, but thankfully doesn't bring out the caution. At least not right away.
They got to see this coming.
Stenhouse into the wall.
Logano and Keselowski nearly collide on the restart, and Kevin Harvick takes advantage. Once again, the caution comes back out right away.
And one around. Paul Menard. And that's Kenseth.
Kenseth's spin makes him the 7th chase driver to get into trouble today. Though the restart with 27 to go won't be the last one, it will be the climactic moment of the race. Coming out of turn 2, Keselowski slides up the track just enough to slow Harvick down and get himself way loose. Joey Logano jumped on the opportunity and took a lead he wouldn't relinquish for the rest of the day. The race isn't over yet, though. Jeff Gordon's tire lets go and he smacks the turn 1 wall, turning a 6th place run into a 26th place finish. After a great restart, another wreck in the back, and a 2-lap sprint, Joey Logano locks himself into the next round. Harvick and Johnson join him in the top 5, and Aric Almirola puts up an impressive performance, finishing 6th. With 1 race left in the first round, the last place driver in the chase is just 10 points back of the cut line. If a little luck goes his way, Almirola will be able to stave off elimination. Yes, you can get eliminated now. Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick lead the field to green at Dover, and when the ESPN ticker appears, it lists 399 laps as the race length, and then 398. You might be wondering why I'm bringing up such a small detail, and that's because not much else happens for the first 150 laps. It's not like nothing at all happens. Biffle, Almirola, and Jr. are mixing it up mid-pack, and Hamlin's running well enough to make up for his misfortune last week. Pretty soon, Harvick has caught Almirola and Allmendinger, two guys who really can't afford to lose a lap so soon into the race. Harvick clears them both, and Brad Keselowski follows closely behind him. Debris on the front stretch brings out the first caution, and with it, the first set of pit stops, where Harvick's pit crew matches their driver's early dominance. Just after the restart, Justin Allgaier makes a wild save, narrowly avoiding Eric Almirola. A few laps later, the yellow's out again.
Caution for the second time in the race. I heard something about turn 2, but I haven't confirmed what the caution was for yet, so I'll follow up on that in a minute. Oh, Stenhouse into the wall in turn 2. That's what it was.
As they stand after the restart, Almirola is the only one in serious trouble, 19 points below the cut line. The rest of the chase field, save for the locked-in Penske's, is all over each other, jockeying for the 10 remaining slots in the second round. One of the drivers right on the cut line, Greg Biffle, isn't giving any quarter to the competition.
Greg Biffle, 16, giving up a spot to Marcos Ambrose. That's 13th place. Whoa,
that could have been bad right there for both of them.
More debris brings the yellow out for a third time, and Harvick barely hangs on to first place on pit road. On the restart, Kyle Busch jumps to the high line and passes about 4 cars. He wants to ensure he'll feel the relief of advancing today, rather than feeling like this sad, deflated Pepsi can outside the track. A feeling that, if the current results stand, will go to Kyle's brother. Kurt's running 11th, 1 point out of the top 12 in points. Meanwhile, Kurt's teammate has led every lap up to this point, but something might be up with the 4-car.
Since they started this run, he said it's bouncing like crazy, and then a couple laps in, I think something might be broken in the left front, and then most recently, it's banging on the ground. So right now, the 4-car not where he wants to be, and perhaps with an issue. Remember, he came into the race 41 points to the good of the cutoff line, not completely secure, but fairly safe. But a bad day could really be a problem for Kevin.
And here's Keselowski as Harvick gets into traffic now, closing right up on him for the lead and taking a run at it off of 4.
Yeah, this 4-car is not nearly as good as it was earlier. It may have a little problem.
Remember a few years ago in Formula 1, when most of the field couldn't stop their cars from porpoising like crazy? It looks like a similar issue is plaguing Harvick. After Casey Kane pits early thanks to a loose wheel, Harvick's problems seem to fall away as he pounces on Brad Keselowski. But before he can take the lead back, J.J. Yaley brings out the race's 4th caution. This has completely screwed Kane, who's trapped a lap down. Harvick takes the lead back, but before the race goes back green, his car troubles have come back.
I think the left front shock is completely broke. It's hard to tell. We've been watching a bunch of video and everything. Times are still plenty good. He drove away from the 24. I say we go through one more stop here. Let us look at the helmet camera and everything else one more time and get a better idea and just keep racing it and try to hang in there for a little bit.
Despite this, he holds on to the top spot. As they run at the halfway point, Kurt Busch is the last car in, despite ESPN mistakenly placing the cut line above him instead of below him. But AJ Allmendinger has a lot more cars ahead of him that he could pass, and Kurt's still very much in trouble. Behind both of them is Casey Kane, who's still a little off strategy after his green flag pit stop.
And now as we come back live, Casey Kane's difficult day continues. The green flag pit stop out of sync with everyone else earlier with the loose left rear wheel. Put him 2 laps down. Now he stops again under green and needs for the cycle to go through without the caution flag coming out again, or he's going to be hopelessly trapped 4 to 5 laps down.
Kane drags the field onto pit road after him, including the race leader. He's still feeling like something's up with the car, but he hasn't run into any race-altering problems yet.
And Kevin Harvick is off the pace in turn 3.
Hold your line here.
Left front tire down on the 4-car.
I can't get you down.
Look at the splitter vibrating around. Big moment of the race. Trouble for Kevin Harvick at lap 252.
This might bring out a caution, too.
Harvick has to travel an excruciating full lap around the track at a snail's pace before the caution comes out. His shot at victory is gone, and he won't return to the lead lap before the race's conclusion. Now, the race is wide open. Brad Keselowski leads at the restart, but Jeff Gordon quickly chases him down. After a fierce battle, Gordon takes the lead. Behind them, the battle to advance is just as tight. Kurt Busch has fallen back to 17th and is outside the top 12, while Kasey Kahne and AJ Allmendinger are separated by a single point. Green flag pit stops come and go without incident, and Gordon holds first place. If there aren't any more cautions, the field will stay on track to the end. After the stops, Kurt has moved up enough to be just 1 point down on Kahne.
Yeah, one of the key things in this matchup is the 41 has the tiebreaker if it happens to be a tie, and we've seen it tied quite a few times so far today, hasn't it, Ryan?
The tiebreaker with Kahne in the 5.
No, it's actually the 41.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the 41 with the 5.
Right, just those two, yeah.
It's a good job ESPN figured out how the tiebreaker works, because with 49 to go, Kurt passes his boss for 13th on track and 12th in the points. Unfortunately, as the teammates giveth, the teammates taketh away. Kevin Harvick passes Kurt and puts him back below the cut line. Soon, Kahne starts to move up, Kurt's car fades, and the laps run out. Jeff Gordon wins the AAA 400, and Kurt Busch and the 41 team, along with Allmendinger, Biffle, and Almirola, are eliminated from the chase. The standings are reset entirely at the conclusion of the round, so all 12 remaining drivers are completely level on points. This is great news for someone like Kasey Kahne, who would have been 65 points back of the leader at the end of the round, but bad news for Jimmie Johnson, who qualified 32nd here in Kansas. Kevin Harvick leads the field to green, and Joey Logano makes quick work of Brian Vickers to take second. He won't hold on to it for long, as Dale Earnhardt Jr. climbs from 8th place to take P2, and not long after that, Jamie McMurray takes it. Chip Ganassi Racing continues to play spoiler, as McMurray runs Harvick down and passes him for the lead. As the pit cycle begins, Ryan Newman is nearly clobbered by several cars on entry. The rest of the cycle is relatively tame and McMurray holds the lead. When the yellow flag flies for debris, all of the front runners opt for 2 tires except Joey Logano. Unfortunately for him, he's placed himself in the middle of a hornet's nest on the restart.
Oh, one car sliding sideways, down through traffic. Man. Is that Greg Biffle? Yeah.
Dale Jr. squeaks by Harvick and McMurray before Kurt Busch's right front tire brings the caution right back out. Surely there won't be another wreck as soon as we get back going.
No, little wiggle off turn 4 for Jeff Gordon, and they're scattering around he and McMurray.
Gordon caught a little piece of the wall.
Oh, trouble. Jimmie Johnson, I believe.
Around, headed for the inside wall.
16
Greg Biffle around also.
Oh my. Things have gone from bad to worse for the 6-time champion. He takes his car behind the wall and will go on to finish 40th. Junior holds the lead after the restart, and pretty soon he's built a 2-second gap over second place Joey Logano. NASCAR's most popular driver is cruising to a berth in the 3rd round.
Uh-oh, something happened to Junior right there.
He hit the pace. 4.
He hit it hard.
Right side, all beaten up on the 88 car.
For the 2nd week in a row, a tire failure has taken the consensus best car of the day out of contention. Junior will finish 39th, just 1 spot ahead of Jimmie Johnson. As if things aren't bad enough for Hendrick Motorsports, one of Jeff Gordon's tires rolls away on their pit stop. Paul Menard's front tire carrier, listed as Eric Pringle on J-Ski, sees it before it exits the boxes, thinks about helping for a second, and then just doesn't. This places the burden of retrieval fully on Gordon's crew, specifically their rear tire carrier, Gene Cornwell. Unfortunately for Gene, he chases the tire down at the exact same time they pull the air hose back in, and he trips and falls over it. The tire escapes, and the 24 team is penalized.
That's just not our day, is it? It ain't over yet. We just keep fighting to the end. That's what's challenging us. We gotta meet the challenge here.
Ahead of all this, Joey Logano takes the lead before his teammate suffers the same fate as Dale Jr. Like he and Johnson before him, Brad Keselowski's day is effectively over, and he'll finish 36th. A few laps after the restart, Kevin Harvick makes his move, and the battle for the lead is on. Logano goes up high in 3 and 4 and takes back the top spot. For a moment, then Joey Gase brings the yellow back out, and Harvick takes 2 tires, winning the race off pit road. But as Logano proves on the restart, 4 tires are faster than 2. Harvick falls to 3rd behind Kyle Larson, and soon he's in trouble.
He's radioed in and believes he has a flat right front. So keep an eye on Kevin Harvick coming to pit road. He is coming now and says he believes it's the right front down.
He's making the right call by slowing way down. Everyone's seen what happened to Junior and Keselowski earlier. A flat right front gone untreated will ruin your race, but Harvick sensing it before it's too late may have just saved him.
All 4 tires are up, Alan. All 4 tires are up, so it looks as though maybe it was just something that Kevin was feeling from inside the car.
Oh dear. He's a lap down after the unscheduled pit stop that turned out to be unnecessary. But since he pitted with 50 to go, he can make it to the end on fuel. He just needs this race to go green to the end.
Turn 4. Drifting down the track in front of other people, it is Greg Biffle, and the caution flag is out.
Damn. On the next set of pit stops, sorry Kevin, Newman, Busch, Hamlin, and Edwards all go for 2 tires in track position. They line up just ahead of Joey Logano, who's in the process of teaching the remedial lesson of 4 tires is faster than 2, when Casey Kane hits the wall, bringing out the final caution and completing the Hendrick Motorsports quadrifecta of misery. Logano leaves Newman in the dust on the final restart, but the race isn't over yet. Kyle Larson is closing in on the 22 and is hungry for his first Cup Series win.
Larson still getting it on. If he didn't scrape it, there wasn't enough room for another coat of paint on the side of that car.
Whether Larson actually touched the wall there or not is irrelevant. Either way, the loss of momentum is enough for Joey Logano to pull away and win the Hollywood Casino 400. The 2014 Bank of America 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway was the last NASCAR race to air on ABC. But the full race didn't air. Despite being down 58-37 in the fourth quarter, the Baylor Bears mounted an incredible comeback to win their rivalry game against TCU, which didn't conclude until the first 25 laps at Charlotte had been run. I'm a little surprised Baylor's quarterback didn't have more sympathy for NASCAR fans, given that his surname is Petty. The game running along shouldn't be too big of an issue, except for the fact that it's Saturday night on the ESPN family of networks. Every channel is already filled to the brim with other games, and the online stream of the race that fans are directed to isn't working. The fans at home missed riveting action, like Matt Kenseth's team being ordered by NASCAR to remove part of a decal that was stuck to the car, and immediately getting sent to the back of the field for an unapproved adjustment. At the start of the race, nobody outside the track can see it. But based on the smoke on the backstretch, nobody at the track can see it either. Pole sitter Kyle Busch leads the first 13 laps before Jeff Gordon blows past him on the outside. Right after a competition caution, ABC's coverage of the race begins.
Live at Charlotte Motor Speedway after that epic football game with 119 points scored and a last-second field goal finally winning it. The Bank of America 500 has reached a planned caution flag just past its opening 25 laps. Alan Bestwick, Dale Jarrett, Andy Petrie, and our entire ESPN NASCAR team on the scene for you live.
Dale Jr. takes 2 tires in the lead, and it's not a surprise that the 88 team is going for the win after what happened last week. He doesn't last long out front, and pretty soon, his woes have returned.
We ever do have a tire problem, I won't be able to know it. That vibration is no better from yesterday. No, terrible. All on the right side, somewhere in the hub or something.
So Dale Earnhardt Jr. talking about a constant apparent vibration in this 88 car.
Gordon passes Busch to take the lead again. Behind them, Joey Logano's car is way too tight and he's losing a ton of spots. Though he feels no need to push the issue thanks to his win last week. That doesn't mean he'll give up. He pits from 23rd place to try and diagnose the issue, and soon the rest of the field follows him in. The cycle doesn't go without incident. Denny Hamlin's jackman Nate Bowling is injured on the stop, and the team swaps in Kenneth Purcell to fill in. When oil on the track brings out the second caution, Dale Jr. gives the 2-tire strategy another go, along with Jamie McMurray. Now that he's alongside someone on the same strategy, it should be a lot easier for Jr. to lose the lead to McMurray and fall back to 6th. Harvick makes passing McMurray look easy, and given the tire situation, it probably is. We're getting close to halfway, and Hendrick Motorsports is in dire straits after their weekend of humiliation in Kansas. When Paul Menard's engine brings the caution out, their troubles only get worse. Remember that vibration on Dale Jr.'s car? It got so bad that the gear shifter broke off in his hand, and he has to pit multiple times to repair it. Harvick leaves the field in the dust on the restart, and has clearly established himself as the dominant car of the night. One of the only others in his zip code, Jeff Gordon, gets held up by traffic on green flag pit stops, around the same time that Brad Keselowski has to stop for Dale Jr.'s push start, which he needs after every stop since the gear shifter is still broken. The 78-lap green flag run ends when Josh Wise's engine expires, and the field is given an opportunity to close back up to Harvick. Does anyone capitalize? No. But when Brian Vickers spins a few laps later, Kyle Busch beats Harvick off pit road, and so does McMurray. Austin Dillon stays out, and Harvick will restart 4th. He and Busch soon find themselves 2nd and 1st, and Harvick's working on taking the lead when Danica Patrick goes around, and Ryan Newman spins trying to avoid her. Patrick presents the pit road commitment cone to her pit box in a manner reminiscent of a cat bringing home a dead bird. The battle for the lead looks like it'll pick up where it left off, but Kyle Larson passes both of them to take the lead. When the caution comes out for Michael Annett, pit stops turn everything upside down. The top 5 is now Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, Jimmie Johnson, Matt Kenseth, and Kyle Busch. Everyone ahead of Kyle has 2 tires except Keselowski, who stayed out. If he wants to stay up front, he's gonna have to be aggressive.
Trouble, contact there, Kenseth and Keselowski.
Maybe a little too aggressive there, Brad. The right side of Kenseth's car is 31 unique flavors of fucked up. After starting last because NASCAR essentially felt like punishing him for no reason, his drive through the field has been undone by Brad Keselowski. Though Brad didn't escape unscathed, the right rear of his car is visibly damaged. Pretty soon, since he's the best tonight, Harvick has the lead once again. He holds P1 through the final pit cycle, and when Brian Vickers brings out the yellow again, everybody stays out, save for Jimmie Johnson. There's 2 laps to go in this race, and I'm not going to talk about Kevin Harvick. All you need to know is that he's going to drive off into the distance and win the race. Congratulations, Kevin. I want you to focus on Brad Keselowski and Denny Hamlin. Brad shoves Denny into turn 1, getting him loose and up into Kyle Busch, nearly spinning him out. As a result, they both go tumbling down the order. They bump into each other again on the backstretch, though at these speeds it's difficult to tell whose fault it is. In turn 3, Hamlin shoves Keselowski up the track and almost into Kyle Larson. Hamlin crosses the line 9th, and Keselowski 16th. On the cool-down lap after the race, the camera cuts in a little late after their confrontation has already begun. Whatever happened, it ends with Keselowski trying and failing to spin Hamlin out. When they reach pit road, it's again hard to tell what's going on, but it looks like to me that Keselowski is trying to outrun Hamlin and any potential retaliation. Note the angle that Hamlin comes in from behind him. Unfortunately, he runs right into the driver's side of Matt Kenseth, someone who's already displeased with him tonight, and ultimately hits the back of Tony Stewart's car. Tony, who hasn't been involved in any of this so far, has a simple reaction. He puts it in reverse and destroys the front of the 2 car. They all get out of their cars and Hamlin is pissed. His car chief, Wesley Sherrill, is restraining him and audibly says multiple times. Some of his crew members go over to Keselowski's team, but ultimately nothing much happens. Brad walks away with a camera crew in tow, likely angling for an interview. You might remember when I went over next year's chase for the Sprint Cup and the topic of Matt Kenseth's temperament came up. Well, it's true that he's well known as one of the nicer, more reserved guys in the garage. The idea that he would never do anything to anyone before 2015 isn't entirely accurate.
Unhappy drivers for sure.
I'm just glad nobody got hurt in all that. An alley between two haulers is a pretty tight space to have an all-out brawl. Matt had a pretty good reason to be going after Brad, though. He had already taken off his seatbelts when Brad hit him, and that pissed him off something fierce. He charges Brad in a manner reminiscent of a pitcher charging the mound, and as a mound charge, I would rate it as a fracas not quite reaching the level of a rhubarb. NASCAR agreed with Matt and fined Keselowski $50,000. No points penalty though, and he should be thankful for that. He's already 19 points below the cut line, heading into the most treacherous track on the calendar. For the first time this chase, we're going to have to take a closer look at qualifying. The best word that I can think of to describe the qualifying format at Talladega is inscrutable. NASCAR divided the cars into two groups and sent each group out to qualify. You know what group qualifying is. But at a restrictor plate track like this, drafting is crucial to setting a fast lap. So, since everyone wants to be at the back of the pack to get the biggest slipstream, everyone waits until the last second to get onto the track, which meant a bunch of cars didn't make it to the line to begin a fast lap. This included Jeff Gordon, one of the chase contenders. Through a bunch of provisionals which are never explained by ESPN, Gordon makes the race, starting in last, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fails to qualify. Thankfully for Gordon, starting position at Talladega is historically not that important.
When this championship format was first announced back in January, and Talladega was an elimination race in the championship, everybody looked around and said, "Ooh, boy, that's going to be a big, stressful one."
Anybody can win at Talladega. For guys like Keselowski, Dale Jr., and Jimmie Johnson, it's practically their only hope of advancing to the next round. Though, falling behind in the points and saying you can just win Talladega is like losing your job and saying you'll just win the lottery. It's almost certainly not going to happen, but it could. At the start of the race, Ryan Newman proves that qualifying is meaningless by dropping to the rear of the field to avoid any crashes. This causes the inside line to lose some momentum, and Ryan Blaney takes the lead. Wait, Ryan Blaney? In 2014, Ryan Blaney, yup, Ryan Blaney, in his second ever Sprint Cup start, takes the lead. The inside line loses so much momentum that the dreaded freight train emerges next to the wall. As the field splits back apart into multiple lanes, a new complication arrives for Joey Logano.
Somebody's leaking pretty hard in front of me here. Could be a tear off on the stop.
Somebody turns out to be Jamie McMurray. It hasn't impacted the one car's performance thus far, but it'll certainly make others less inclined to work with him. Pretty soon, Jimmie Johnson takes over the top spot from Blaney, and the field migrates to the bottom line. The three Hendrick drivers that are in trouble are running 1, 2, 3, but just because they're teammates doesn't mean they'll just let each other by. Meanwhile, somebody who doesn't need to worry about points is having a bad time.
Kevin Harvick losing some spots and bailing out, and he might have some visibility problems on that 4 car.
I'm going to have to do something here because whatever's coming out of the back of the one is covering my window. I think I'm going to have to go to the back, guys. I can't see.
Yeah, Crew Chief Keith Rodden has confirmed they do have an oil leak on the back of the one. They are watching closely our cameras, their spotters, trying to see if they can figure out where the fluid is coming from. Their scheduled stop is 5 laps away.
So McMurray's car is leaking oil, they know it's leaking oil, and NASCAR isn't throwing the black flag. What on earth are they doing? Maybe I'm being a little harsh, but it seems incredibly unsafe to have a car leaking oil mid-pack at these speeds. After the first round of pit stops, where McMurray's team presumably addresses the oil issue, the intensity is starting to pick up. If these guys aren't careful, there's going to be a crash pretty soon.
Trouble coming off turn 4. Joey Logano's around. And Jamie McMurray.
Somehow, it's not caused by the close pack racing. Instead, the gremlins on the 1 car start chewing on the left rear tire, sending McMurray into Brad Keselowski and Michael McDowell, and Joey Logano gets caught up in the mess. During the caution, Keselowski falls to the back, repairing the 2 car. No matter, there's still over 100 laps to go. He's far from out of the race. It's hard to tell exactly who the best cars on track are early in the race at Talladega. All you can really tell is who's comfortable enough to run up front instead of saving their stuff for the end. But if we're to take how they run on lap 87 as gospel, Kenseth, Hamlin, Keselowski, and Johnson would miss the cut, and Jr. needs to hold the lead to stop Kenseth from taking his spot. Not present on this graphic is Kyle Busch, who, among the drivers that haven't yet been locked in, is first in points. The people at ESPN are so sure he's safe he isn't even included in the graphic. But soon, they'll realize that this might have been a mistake.
Trouble on the track, Dave. Cars colliding on the back straightaway. Alex Bowman, 23. Tony Stewart, more piling in. Is that Kyle Busch in the inside wall? 18 car all torn up. We're done. JJ Yaley.
Garage, straight to the garage, straight to the garage.
83 involved, but the big story here, Kyle Busch riding around in the back in the safe strategy mode, caught up when trouble happened in front of him, and now Dave Rogers and the Gibbs team have to go into their disaster drill to see what they can salvage out of this day.
As Alan Bestwick says, Kyle was riding around in the back in a safe strategy. But that's the thing about Talladega. You aren't safe anywhere. His team frantically tries to put the 18 Toyota back together as he's now just 1 point away from elimination. Soon, the race restarts, and Landon Castle takes the lead because this is the kind of race that Landon Castle would take the lead of. He doesn't last there for long as Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick take him 3 wide, and soon Jimmie Johnson takes over the top spot. Soon, Johnson leads Brad Keselowski, who's recovered from the damage incurred in the earlier wreck. Michael McDowell, evidently, has not.
Someone has just scuffed off the wall. There it is. Michael McDowell, that's, wow, just scuffed it.
That's a hard hit.
Yeah.
Like a right front went down.
He had damage earlier.
In the garage, it's still all hands on deck around the 18 car. Kyle Busch is walking towards it with his helmet on, and you'd think he's about to drive away, only for the car's hood to still be up 10 minutes later. With 40 laps to go, he's 46 laps down. At this stage, there's just 4 cars on track that he could pass to make up points. Soon enough, he's back on track. A big wreck won't do him much good now, but it could slow down some of the other guys at the cut line. I'm sure someone on the 18 crew is hoping something goes wrong as the field goes 4 wide. As the laps wind down, the field heads for pit road for the last time.
Oh, Kevin Harvick with some contact at the back of the pack, spun around.
Oddly enough, this didn't draw caution, but a moment later,
got one spinning on the apron of 1 and 2 coming off the pit lane, trying to get up to speed. Caution is out.
As they gear up for the restart, Kyle Busch is 5 points out of the next round, even without anyone below him winning. He'll need some serious luck to advance. So will Brad Keselowski, whose teammate has agreed to help him out.
Joey said he's glued to you like a tattoo, but I'll spot for him as well as you like we were doing earlier, just so you know. Just keep me posted on gaps in front of me too, so I can push.
After the pit stops, Ryan Newman wound up in first place. He's likely good to advance, but nobody would say no to a win, especially the guy who hasn't won yet in 2014. Newman leads Landon Castle and Danica Patrick, who have both never won in the Cup Series, but Johnson and Keselowski barge their way to the front before the caution comes out. 2 laps to settle it. At this stage, the point scenarios are simple. Dale Jr. and Kyle Busch will be eliminated, and so will one of Johnson and Keselowski. If either of those 2 win, they advance, and Casey Kane falls out. If neither of them win, they're both out. On the backstretch, Keselowski starts to pull away and...
Oh, trouble!
Junior's in that.
David Gilliland, Michael Annette, Paul Menard, and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Okay, now there's 2 laps to go for real. Everything I said still applies. Now let's try this again.
Oh, trouble, Trevor Bayne.
Okay, we're good. Keselowski pulls away and Johnson fades back. It's now Brad versus the world for the final spot in the 3rd round. But the world isn't going down without a fight.
To the white flag, Ryan Newman to the outside of Keselowski. Newman leads at that line. Who leads at the next one?
Keselowski tries to block Newman in turn 2, but all he does is arrest his own momentum, and they're side by side on the backstretch. But in turn 3, the 2 Stewart-Haas cars slow each other down behind Newman, and Matt Kenseth closes up to the back of Keselowski. He's got all the help he needs for a mad dash to the line.
Landon Castle to the outside, tri-oval, sprint to the checkered flag. Who wins? Brad Keselowski wins it at Talladega.
Talladega is a track that will chew you up and spit you out without hesitation. Martinsville won't do that to you, but all the other drivers on track are more than willing to make up for that. Jamie McMurray leads the field to the green flag to open the third round, with Kenseth and Logano in tow. Before much of anything happens, Alex Bowman spins right in front of Kevin Harvick to bring out the first caution. After the restart, Harvick's starting position of 33rd continues to torment him, as the field checking up into turn 3 results in a bent nose on the 4 car. Brad Keselowski slides out of the racing line in turn 2 and gets stuck on the outside, losing a bunch of spots. When the yellow comes out for Kyle Fowler's tire, Denny Hamlin stops a little too close to the wall in his pit stall, and the team has trouble getting the jack under the car, costing him 4 spots. Jeff Gordon takes over first place, but McMurray's still in hot pursuit. You can only imagine what he or his teammate Kyle Larson could have done if they made the chase. They've been in the mix nearly every week. Gordon has to take evasive action when Brian Vickers spins in front of him.
Oh, scattering off turn 4. Brian Vickers turned around, yellow flag.
That seems a little excessive from Casey Kane, don't you think?
You know, you watch the baseball broadcasts and they say if you're scoring at home, if you're scoring at home, write down 5 and 55 and see if that one comes back around in the last 300 laps of this one.
On the ensuing set of pit stops, Brad Keselowski gets caught speeding and is sent to the back of the field. McMurray and Gordon battle for the race lead before the race's 5th caution comes out courtesy of Reed Sorensen. On this set of pit stops,
looks like Jeff Gordon's going to get busted for speeding on that pit stop. Uh-oh.
Dale Jr. inherits the lead as the race resumes, but less than 3 laps go by before David Reagan goes around. On the next restart, Joey Logano takes first. Brian Vickers' hood flies up and he has to pit to remove the whole thing. Soon he's back on track without incident.
And trouble, Vickers gets Kane.
That was coming, caution is out. Caution is out inside. Thanks, Brian.
Almost got Brad Keselowski mixed up in that. That's some damage on Kane's car.
He was saving the incident for the next time he saw the 5 car.
Something must be dragging on the splitter. The car just went straight. I got down to 1.
Shut the fuck up, Brian. Let's get back to racing, and hopefully we can stay green for a little while.
Oh, trouble, Harvick and Kenseth around. In the wall.
Left front, wall hard.
Kenseth slides out the bottom lane, just like Keselowski did, right into the path of Kevin Harvick. He pulls his car behind the wall, and the 4 crew is working on it when the caution comes out for the 9th time. Hamlin leads the field off pit road, but a handful of cars stay out, and when everything shakes out, Logano is taking the lead. A moment later,
Yep, got a caution, and we expected that was coming.
Let me guess, the 5 got near the 55.
Yep, I think that's what you're going to see.
Helping us, caution's out. I'll tell them thanks. You're all clear.
after this altercation, NASCAR informs both teams that they will not continue this back and forth, and that's that. After the next restart, Hamlin roughs up Logano's back bumper to take the lead.
Whoa, what is this?
I'm not sure. It looked like Logano moved over to maybe let him go. I don't know if it was a miscommunication or there's actually some bad blood right here.
Soon, Dale Jr. is up to second since he pitted during the last caution. When the next one comes out, everybody who didn't pit then dives in, and the ensuing green flag run becomes a repetitious process of faster cars bubbling up to the surface. Kurt Busch passes Jr., Gordon passes Busch, then Hamlin passes Gordon. Then Kevin Harvick tries to get a little revenge on Matt Kenseth for the incident earlier.
Right here. There we go.
I guess the message has been delivered.
Reed Sorensen gets into some more trouble, and the yellow comes out for the 12th time. On the restart, Tony Stewart holds back Jeff Gordon, who's recovered from his speeding penalty. Before he can reach Denny Hamlin, debris brings out the 13th caution. On pit road, Clint Bowyer steals the lead, and the restart is delayed after Kurt Busch's engine explodes. When they finally do get going, Brad Keselowski's transmission gives out.
Brad Keselowski losing spots. Is there trouble on two? Now he's got problems. Casey Mears in the back of him.
Hold on. Caution, 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 caution.
And more collected.
Lost your transmission for no reason. I haven't missed a shift or anything. Coming at you.
Before Brad can get back to pit road, the red flag is displayed, which means they can't even begin to figure out what's wrong with the car. 10 minutes later, the yellow comes back out, and Keselowski pulls into the garage. On the restart, Hamlin, Logano, and Gordon are all over each other behind Bowyer and Jr., who passes the 15 to take first place a moment later. Then, with 14 to go, the 15th and final caution comes out. After another red flag, most of the field pits, but Stewart, Stenhouse, and Reagan stay out. The highest running chase driver is Denny Hamlin in 6th. Coming to the green flag, it's anyone's guess as to who's gonna win.
Stenhouse shoved aside. Bowyer can't get through. 3 wide, going to turn 3. second.
5 back, still 5 back, no pressure.
Checkered flag and his first Martinsville win. Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes it over Jeff Gordon.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes his 23rd career win, but since he's already out of the chase, nobody is locked into the final race. Matt Kenseth starts on pole for the AAA 500 at Texas alongside Jeff Gordon. Just behind them is Jimmie Johnson, who's looking to avenge his elimination with a win at one of his best tracks. Kenseth opens up a big lead on the field early on, as Kevin Harvick nearly runs into the back of Danica Patrick. After 42 laps, Josh Wise hits the wall and the caution comes out. Gordon's pit crew has trouble with the right front tire and he falls back to 10th. Johnson takes over up front on the restart, but in the booth, Alan Bestwick's eyes are drawn to Ryan Newman.
So, as you notice these cars going around the racetrack, you always see, after the first pit stop in the race, that little piece of metal just in front of the right rear tire, the side skirt on the car. Everybody gives that a tug. Obviously, it helps aerodynamically, and all the teams do it on their pit stop. Right? You see Jimmie Johnson's there a little bit. Here's a look at Kevin Harvick's.
Yeah, you see that right there. This is something that they don't allow them to do beforehand. They have, a shape that this has to meet. But after the race starts, the teams will reach down there and pull that out, and it does make more downforce and side force. They seem to allow them to do it. But now, if you look at Ryan Newman's car, you can see the side skirt's actually broken away. I don't know, they must have a big guy pulling on this. Maybe he grabbed it just a little too hard, but it's sticking way out there today.
A few laps after this exchange, Kevin Harvick, with a side skirt that is pulled out, sails past Joey Logano, whose side skirt is not. Pretty soon, 2 green flag pit cycles have come and gone in the midst of a 129-lap green flag run. For the title contenders, the goal in this portion of the race is just to stay on the lead lap to be around for the finish, but that's harder than it might seem. Case in point, Carl Edwards, 1 lap down. Nothing extraordinary happened to him, his car's just off, and now he's stuck a lap behind the rest of the chase drivers. As they run around the halfway mark, Edwards is last in points, 32 back at the cut line. The way his day's going, he'll probably have to win Phoenix to make it to the final race. Despite running up front, Harvick and Keselowski are also in trouble, courtesy of their issues at Martinsville. The long green flag run finally ends with a debris caution, and Johnson keeps the lead on pit road. He holds it on the restart and starts to run away, but Kyle Busch's tire bunches the field back up, and Gordon finally takes first with just over 100 laps to go. Carl Edwards' bad day gets worse when the grill of his car flies off, bringing out a debris caution. Denny Hamlin takes the lead on a 2-tire pit stop. This call fails tremendously, and he's out of the top 5 within a lap. Soon another debris caution is out, but not before Matt Kenseth hits the debris in question. Jimmie Johnson takes the lead back on pit road, and Harvick holds second after the restart. After yet more debris, Brad Keselowski stays out and takes the lead, and it somehow works better than when Hamlin took 2 tires. Jeff Gordon catches him, but Brad makes him work for it, and Jeff doesn't take first place for 10 laps. Just like Harvick early on, Gordon has to take evasive action to avoid slowing Danica Patrick off of turn 2. When AJ Allmendinger brings out the race's 7th caution, Johnson's crew gets him out a second quicker than Gordon, and he takes first as the Penske teammates nearly collide behind him. The green flag doesn't stay out for long as Brett Moffitt gets into the wall, and everything gets turned upside down on pit road. Several drivers stay out, and several lug nuts fly off of Joey Logano's right rear tire. His rear tire changer, Zach Price, is stranded trying to solve the issue while the rest of the team moves over to the left side, costing the 22 a bunch of spots. As if that's not enough, he makes contact with Marcus Ambrose on the restart, cutting down a tire and sending him around. After the next restart, Jimmie Johnson tries to send it on the outside of Kurt Busch for the lead, but ultimately thinks better of it. A moment later, his teammate Casey Kane spins, causing the 10th caution of what has become the evening. There's 17 laps left when the green comes back out. The urgency of the moment is enough to cause Ryan Newman and Matt Kenseth to nearly crash, giving Newman a tire rub at the worst time. Thankfully for him, Casey Kane crashes a second time, bringing out the 11th yellow. Both Newman and Kenseth hit pit road, and as they run, they're both right around the cut line, while Brad Keselowski is 11 points down. He's sure to be desperate in the run to the finish. Johnson and Gordon lead the field to green, and Gordon leaves everyone in the dust. He's in position to lock himself in.
Clint Boyer with a slide off turn 4. He's into the wall. Front straightaway. Caution flag is out.
There, yell's out. I think he got you in the left rear.
Wow, you can see it on his face.
Gordon and Johnson once again line up 1-2, but now Keselowski and Harvick are on row 2. With 2 laps left, the drama is just beginning.
Contact Gordon and Keselowski.
Coming outside also.
Keselowski to the outside of Johnson for the race lead.
All clear.
Jeff Gordon may have a flat tire.
Yeah, he does.
Gordon spinning, turn 4. Caution is out. We'll have another attempt at a green light checker.
Jeff Gordon has gone from locked into the finale to barely staving off elimination, all thanks to Brad Keselowski. While it's true that Jeff turned to the left, that's because he was heading into this massive left turn. Keselowski moved up into him and cut down the tire, and that was that for Gordon's hopes of winning. Johnson gets the jump on the final restart, but Keselowski and Harvick are all over him. Harvick gets Keselowski loose and nearly wrecks him as they take the white flag, and that's all Jimmie Johnson needs.
A frantic finish, and for the 3rd year in a row, Jimmie Johnson wins the chase race at Texas.
As Johnson burns it down on the front stretch, Brad Keselowski once again has company on pit road. As Jeff Gordon gets out of the car, there's already pushing and shoving between the two crews. When he approaches Brad, his path is blocked by Penske engine tuner Mark Nichols. Nicknamed Big Mark, he's certainly capable of holding back the 5'8" Gordon. In the distance, someone can be heard yelling. Jeff is livid with Brad, but Big Mark is still blocking his path. Behind him, Hendrick crew members Dwayne Doucette and Jordan Allen enter the scene and help push Jeff past Big Mark, giving him a clear lane to get to Brad. At the same time, Kevin Harvick enters the frame. If you ask Kevin Harvick today why he did what he's about to do, he'd first correct you and say that this actually happened in 2015, because in every interview I've seen he gets the year wrong. After that, he'd tell you about the miserable round he'd been having so far, and how he wanted to take the eyeballs of the NASCAR world off of the 4 team and onto something else. In the immediate aftermath, he'll say that Brad was in bulldoze mode, and coupled with what happened on the last lap, one might intuit that he was, as so many drivers have been this chase, frustrated with Brad's driving. In reality, Kevin's motive doesn't matter. All that does matter is that he steps into frame and shoves Brad towards Jeff, setting off a spark in a sea of gasoline. Check out how many people got caught in the crossfire. Standing just a foot or two away from the mayhem is Bob Pockrass. Even closer than that is Jamie Little, who's entangled in the Gordon Keselowski pit crew blob before Marty Smith pulls her out of there. All of this is taking place in front of Paul Menard's pit box, where the 27 crew, led by Justin Alexander, who just finished crew chiefing his 3rd race ever, is likely thinking, please, can you do this anywhere else? As soon as the dust settles, Jamie has to interview one of the parties involved, and she's audibly shaken.
Well, Brad is a little beat up, spitting some blood out, and I see blood around your forehead. Your chin, Brad, what is your take on what happened with Jeff Gordon?
You know, we're just racing for the win. And, I reckon we just raced him hard, and he left a hole. And, you know, everything you watch in racing, you leave a hole, you're supposed to tow for it. And it closed back up, we made contact. You know, I don't want to ruin anyone's day. Wanted to win the race, and that was our opportunity, and just didn't come together.
Jeff isn't as kind when he addresses Brad.
He's just a dipshit, you know? I mean, the way he races, I don't know how he's ever won a championship, and I'm just sick and tired. I mean, that's why everybody's fighting him and running him down, and, you know, your emotions are high. That was a huge, huge race for us. We had the car, we had the position. So proud of my team, and I'm proud of Jimmie Johnson for winning that race, not letting that little, you know what, win that race. Oh my God.
After 2 races in the 3rd round, nothing is certain. Nobody's happy and everybody's in danger. All they can do is pick up the pieces and head west to the desert. 3 of Gordon's crew members, as well as 1 of Kasey Kahne's, are fined and suspended for the rest of the season, but once again, NASCAR issues 0 points penalties. Jeff remains 1 point above the cut line when the green flag waves in Phoenix. One guy who's way out of the picture as they run on lap 1 is Ryan Newman. Within 20 laps, he's dropped another 5 places.
Well, and so far he's had a loose car, but the significant thing is they coming into this race, they really weren't happy with the car. So as a result, what they did was they took some of the things they did, some of the things their teammates had done, and put that setup on the car. So this is a new setup. But just as it's been a steady, solid climb through the season, they know going into today's race, they're going to have to do the same thing. Start in the way in the back and slowly work their way forward and hope they're in that top 9 at the end.
Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano are all over each other for the race lead, with Kevin Harvick, a guy who needs to win to advance, lurking behind them. When the yellow flies for debris and the field pits, Hamlin gets a fresh set of right side tires but has to pit again a lap later for a flat right rear tire. I don't understand that sentence either. The 11 crew put a flat tire on the car, or maybe he ran over the debris with the right rear. Whatever happened, he's at the back of the field now. Logano and Kenseth lead the field to green, and 9 laps later, Harvick makes his move.
You can see right there, he's able to get that car turned. That's what he could not do in that first run. Car turned and back to the throttle. There's the lead for Harvick. Logano says, I give up.
It might seem strange for me to say that this is the climactic pass for the lead, but let me explain. There are 269 laps left in this race. Kevin Harvick will lead 264 of them. Dale Jr. will lead 4 laps under caution after taking 2 tires on pit road, and Michael Annett will lead 1 lap during a green flag pit cycle. Other than that, forget about it. Kevin Harvick is going to win his way into the championship finale. I know somebody recently discussed the driveraverages.com rating system and how a rating of 150 constitutes a perfect race, kind of like a 158.3 passer rating in a football game. You've done all you can possibly do, and at least for today, you're the best. And by that website's metrics, Kevin Harvick was the best. The second of 3 quote-unquote perfect races Harvick would have at Phoenix, the first coming back in 2006, and the second coming 4 months from now, in March 2015. So Harvick's gonna run away with it. Does that mean we should just move on to the finale? Absolutely not. There are still 3 spots in the championship race up for grabs, and 7 drivers chasing them. As they run, Logano is safely in, but as Denny Hamlin just demonstrated, that can change in a heartbeat. Gordon, Newman, and Kenseth are pushing and shoving for the last 2 spots, and Carl Edwards is having yet another uncharacteristically invisible day, at least so far. Casey Mears spins to bring out the second caution of the race. On pit road, Dale Jr. takes 2 tires to lead the aforementioned 4 laps, but I'm more interested in what's going on with Jeff Gordon. Something went awry in the jack, and the car wasn't high enough to get the tires off. An audible from Alan Gustafson saves them from falling to the rear of the field, but with just 2 fresh tires on the 24, they may have just delayed the inevitable. Another debris caution comes out a few laps later, and the 24 bites the bullet, pitting for 4 tires. Not to sound like a broken record, but another debris caution comes out a few laps later, this time bringing the whole field down pit road.
Joey Logano says it's turning much better that time. Loose on exit, just a tad. Right tires, oh no! He takes off with the fuel engaged. The fuel man almost goes down for Joey Logano.
If the gas can is out of the car when Logano pulls away, he'd be in first place ahead of Harvick. Instead, after an equipment violation penalty, he's back in 25th. The second pit road gaffe in 2 weeks has put Logano on the outside looking in. Pretty soon he's lapped by Kevin Harvick and doesn't get the free pass when the caution comes out.
Loose. I can't freaking get off the corner. I turn all right, I just can't get off the damn corner.
At the start of the race, Logano and Hamlin were fighting for the lead. Now they're fighting to be the first car a lap down. Logano pulls away before the race's 4th debris caution gives him the free pass. And when Josh Wise crashes on the restart, Hamlin gets the free pass as well. On the restart, all of the chase drivers narrowly avoid disaster, except Logano.
See right there, some contact between Joey Logano. I think it was Danica Patrick. He's reporting a tire rub from that.
And this could be an opportunity for the 22 to possibly get in, get 4 tires, fix their damage. He's got a lot of damage. They're going to have to come in. You can see on that left front.
All right. Get to the front there. Get to the front. Get to the front. Pull that hard. Pull that hard. Just at the cane. Oh, grab that thing in two. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get the back a little bit. Get the back a little bit. All right. Ease it down. Ease it down. Ease it down. Let's look at it. Left rear hoodie good. Pull that thing of Pennzoil there. Pennzoil a little bit. Pennzoil. Pennzoil. There we go.
That's one way to get your spot time in there 3 times.
The Busch brothers aren't finished wreaking havoc on Team Penske as Kurt comes together with Brad Keselowski, but Kurt gets the worst of it. After Jimmie Johnson pounds the turn 1 wall and Jamie McMurray spins in turn 2, Hamlin and Logano have worked their way into the top 4 in points, but Keselowski is hot on their heels as well as Carl Edwards, who's finally emerged from the mid-pack. Behind them is Ryan Newman, who entered today with a reasonable points cushion but not enough to overcome his current 15th place position. With 27 to go, he's up to 14th, but is still out by 2 points. Before he can make a move on Carl Edwards, the caution comes out.
Okay, here comes, Brad Keselowski might try it.
Dale Jr. from 5th place, first in. Chasers include Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards. Newman stays out.
Newman jumps from 14th to 5th by staying out, and he's well inside the top 4 now. But it'll be a tough task to hold the pack at bay on old tires. 4 laps after the restart, he's fallen to 9th, and the final caution comes out. Kevin Harvick is going to win the race and advance to the finale. Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin, after recovering from various pit road troubles, will join him. Edwards, Kenseth, and Keselowski are too far back and will be eliminated. The final spot in the championship race will come down to Jeff Gordon and Ryan Newman. Gordon runs second, where he'll go on to finish. Newman, on old tires still, is 3 points ahead of him in 9th place. Gordon would have the tiebreaker, so he needs to finish 11th or better to advance. Anything below that, and he's out. With 12 laps to go, the green flag flies for the final time. Dale Jr. clears Newman right away, and he falls to 10th. He can only afford to lose one more spot, and Marcus Ambrose is all over him. With 9 laps left, he makes the move.
Ambrose to his inside, and Larson trying to fill the gap. Season on the line here for Ryan Newman.
.42, quick holding.
Larson followed Ambrose through, moving Newman back to 12th and out. For Jeff Gordon, this means a shot at a 5th Cup Series championship with a team that's been excellent at intermediate tracks all chase long. For Newman, this is his last shot at a title that he's never been so close to winning, and it's slipping away. Just in front of Newman is Kyle Larson, essentially the future of NASCAR. He'll go on to win dozens of races and multiple championships, but those days are still far ahead of him. For Newman, though, his best days are behind him. This is the last time he'll ever finish in the top 10 in points, and after this year, he'll only win one more race before retirement. But on this day, November 9th, 2014, Ryan Newman is not the past. He is the present. And the future had better get the hell out of the way.
Newman's beside the 42, and these 42's in the wall.
Clear, take your flag, take your flag.
Ryan Newman is going to get in with that move on the last lap.
We said what would drivers do to make it happen. We just saw what they would do.
In the era of the 10-race chase from 2004 to 2013, it wasn't uncommon to see more than 2 drivers still in contention for the championship entering the final race. But usually, anyone third on back would have a distant shot at best of winning. The most famous championship battle in NASCAR history, 1992, saw 3 drivers with a realistic chance at the crown. Now, for the first time in series history, 4 drivers enter the final race of the season on equal footing. Kevin Harvick, the man who was lights out last week and has been up front for a majority of the chase, starts 5th. Denny Hamlin, who was a distant 19th in regular season points and has gone winless since May, but has been consistent enough over the past 9 weeks to make it here, starts 8th. Joey Logano, who finished higher than the other 3 in regular season points, starts 9th. And Ryan Newman, who's had to scratch and claw his way to Miami, the winless driver looking to break the system intended to reward winning above all else, starts back in 21st. At 3:16 p.m., the green flag waves and the championship race is underway. Harvick holds off a turn 1 charge from Hamlin and keeps the championship lead until the first caution. He takes the race lead on the restart, but Jeff Gordon reels him back in. Harvick doesn't put up much of a fight. After all, he knows who he's really fighting. By lap 37, Hamlin and Logano have caught him. 3 of the 4 championship contenders are on top of each other. So how's the other one doing?
Yeah, that's really been the focus of their weekend. They weren't so concerned about fastest lap times during practice, but working the different lines and making sure that Ryan's car was comfortable for him in the various grooves that we would run throughout the course of this race day. Now, the car a little bit tight right now and getting tighter, Ryan says, especially the first 2/3 of the corner, but in general, they've been pretty pleased with it through the first 48 laps.
Remember, it's a long race. Newman's got plenty of time. The first set of pit stops is already come and gone, but ESPN shows a replay of Logano's stop in order to take note of his rear tire carrier, Larry Robinette. It's his last race on the pit crew before he moves into the Penske race shop for 2015, and he's going to leave a mark. He pulls the left side skirt all the way out, giving the 22 car a little extra downforce. Remember, there are no rules against this yet, and the extra downforce just might be what Logano used to pass both Hamlin and Harvick into turn 1. Not content with leading the race, Jeff Gordon drifts up into the lap-down car of Greg Biffle and nearly puts him in the wall. When Brett Moffitt brings out the second caution, Denny Hamlin's pit crew gets his car out 0.6 of a second faster than Joey Logano, and Hamlin takes over the championship lead for a moment. On the restart, Logano uses that extra downforce and sails into turn 1. But like a cartoon character looking at the cliff he just ran off of, the car realizes, wait a second, it's not that much extra downforce, and goes way high through turn 2. Hamlin retakes first place. Soon after, Jeff Gordon retakes the lead, and Harvick and Logano pounce. It's a mad dash for P1 in the standings, and Harvick takes it and runs, leaving Hamlin and Logano to scrap for second.
While these guys are racing back and forth for this spot, Ryan Newman is continuing to pass cars. Look at him. He's up to 7th place and working on Casey Kane for 6th.
See? I told you he's got plenty of time. Ryan Newman is a man on a mission. He's never been so close to a championship, and he's giving it his all. White-knuckled, red in the face. Maybe a little too red? Is he okay in there? Brett Moffitt brings out the caution for the second time in 20 minutes, and the field once again hits pit road. Hamlin's crew beats Harvick's by 7/10, and he's first in the points again. It doesn't last that long, as Harvick runs him down and takes the spot back down the front stretch. As Logano starts to fade, Hamlin stays even with Harvick, and is about to make the move when a caution comes out for Alex Bowman. Harvick holds the lead on the restart and gaps the 11 and 22. Harvick's passing the lap-down car of Marcus Ambrose, who's making his final Cup start, when Ambrose gets uncomfortably loose next to the points leader. So far, Harvick's having a banner day, with over 100 laps spent in control of the championship thus far. The yellow flies again, and Hamlin barely edges out Harvick on pit road. Greg Biffle brings it right back out after the restart, and Harvick and Logano will get another chance at the lead, as well as Ryan Newman, who's finally worked his way into the top 5. Logano pries second on the track away from Harvick and Gordon until he runs just a little too high. When the next yellow comes out, Logano's team has to take an extra few seconds to fix up the right side of the car. On the same stop, Ryan Newman asks his team for some cold water, one would assume to cool down his very red face. Thanks to being stuck mid-pack after the slow stop, Logano is nearly caught in a wreck when Matt Kenseth gets sideways in front of him. As Hamlin and Harvick battle for the points lead, the caution comes out again. Hamlin holds position in front of Harvick on pit road, while Newman falls back to 9th. The sun is setting over South Florida, a natural signal that the race is entering its final stages. There's just over 50 laps left in the season when the race resumes. With exactly 50 laps left, Hamlin leads the race. Harvick is a close third, Logano's in 5th, and Newman is stuck in 10th. Just 4 seconds off of Hamlin, but I'm sure it feels like a lot more than that. Whatever Newman had before just isn't there as he tries and fails to pass Clint Bowyer. But in auto racing, fortunes can change at the drop of a hat.
Debris back straightaway, caution flag.
A fantastic pit stop rockets Newman back into the top 5, while Logano falls outside the top 10. Hamlin keeps the points lead on the restart, but the race is brought to a standstill when AJ Allmendinger loses a tire. On the restart, Hamlin can't get the power down off turn 2, and Harvick takes off. Before he can really stretch his lead, another debris caution comes out. Usually, when the caution comes out at Homestead, everybody pits. It just goes without saying. But with 19 laps left in the championship race, it's time to try something drastic. And Denny Hamlin does just that.
Hamlin stayed out.
Gordon and Hamlin stayed out. We'll see how many more stay with him.
Not many.
For the rest of the contenders, this might be the most important stop of the year, pending another yellow. The plan is simple. 4 tires for Harvick and Logano, and 2 for Newman, going for broke to try and win it all. In the 22's pit box, they've changed the right side tires and are sprinting around to the left side. Veteran jackman Ray Gallahan gets the jack in place without a moment to spare, attempts to jack the car up, and the side skirt begins to buckle before it snaps.
Oh, it comes down off the jack, 22 off the jack on the left side, and they're gonna lose any time they thought they might gain.
For 25 seconds, the 22 car is stuck on the ground with its right side tires off, too low to the ground to put on the fresh ones. It takes a second jack to get the car high enough to finish the stop. Logano exits pit road in 28th place with 15 laps to go. For the 3rd week in a row, his team has had a different form of trouble on pit road, and his shot at the championship has been buried. At the green flag, Harvick has to navigate through a minefield of race cars and is up to 7th within a lap. Before he can advance any further, JJ Yeley and Blake Cook come together, bringing out another caution. This is awful news for Hamlin. Harvick has moved up by several rows and still has fresh tires, and Newman is alongside him. Newman slips up in turn 2, and Harvick jumps to 2nd place behind Hamlin. If the caution comes out again, he's toast, and even without one, he's in serious trouble.
Trouble, got a car up in flames in turn number 1, down on the apron of the racetrack.
Stay in green. There he goes. Harvick's got to run.
That's wide. Harvick leads.
Just as Ryan Newman takes 2nd from Hamlin, the caution flag comes out for the final time. It's now a 1 versus 1 fight between Newman and Harvick. 3 laps for the race and the championship. No matter what happens, NASCAR can breathe easy, as if Newman wins, he'll have won the race and there won't be a winless champion. Newman stays with Harvick through turn 1, but the 4 car powers off of 2 and takes over the lead. Newman isn't giving up though. Just a few car lengths separate them with a lap and a half to go. He keeps the hammer down out of 4 until he gets loose. After that, Newman can't gather the momentum back. Kevin Harvick comes back around to take the checkered flag and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship. A lot has been said about the decline of driving standards in recent years. A lack of etiquette on track and guys wrecking other guys far more often. Some people blame snot-nosed rich kids taking all the rides, some blame the next-gen car, and some people even blame safety. I also have something to blame. This. The 10 races that we just witnessed. The first playoff-style chase for the Sprint Cup set the tone of what drivers will do to win a championship. It's evident with how Brad Keselowski raced in the second and third round, and with how Ryan Newman put Kyle Larson in the wall at Phoenix. Jeff Gordon, after the Texas race where his race was ruined courtesy of Keselowski, said he'd race him the same way in the future, but he didn't seem happy about it. He seemed resigned to the fact that he'd have to drive like that to win. 12 seasons have come and gone since 2014, and in the most recent iteration of the NASCAR playoffs, just 2 contenders had raced for a Cup championship prior to the format being introduced. To an entire generation of drivers, this is how NASCAR works. Not just young guys coming up, the established superstars of today have only ever known an elimination-style championship. This is how we race now. And I don't know if it'll ever change.